All right. Welcome back to day two of the Back to School Challenge for middle school science teachers. I'm Fleur, the face behind Aloha Monday Teaching, and today we are going to set up our teacher binder. So let's begin. So we have a lot of work to do today. All right, so we have some goals for today. The first goal is to have our binders set up so it's ready for our students' information. So we're going to basically make like the bones of our binders, and then we'll put everything else in it later. We'll label our index divider tabs, so we'll plan out what sections we need, and we're going to print any pages that are ready for our binder. All right, these are the workbook pages. This is from what you got when you signed up for the challenge. So we're going to go over setting up our systems. And then there's a page for any notes or ideas. So it's from this workbook. And the teacher survival kit page, if you purchase that or any of the bundles, this is like our checklist. So that's that. And I'm going to actually show you a lot of like all of these things that are in the teacher survival kit. So this is where you would find it in the file folders. We're going to go over some of the teacher binder pages, seating charts, and the class list. So I can show you if you bought this, how to use it. And if you didn't purchase this, that's okay. You can do it without it, but it'll give you hopefully some ideas on what you can create on your own. All right, so let's begin with our purpose. So first, let's think about what you already do to organize your information. So we have a ton of information. I have, right now I have two binders that I have information in, and my goal right now is to put it all into one teacher binder. So that's why I made this part of the challenge. We have our students' information when school starts, we have school information, we have district information. There's just like a ton of things to sort out. So this teacher binder, what we're gonna put here is our class information, our student information. We can put our school and district information too, curriculum and all that towards the back. So this will be something that a sub can use to learn about your class. So when they're in there, they know how they know about your students and your procedures, and or like any teacher who walks in or admin or whatever if they need to cover your class. But it's also for you to house your information, so it helps you learn more about your students and to remember like any accommodations and things like that. So it's so we're going to put it all into one binder, but you can do more than one. It's up to you. I do keep certain things on my wall or on a clipboard, so I'll share that as we go through the pages. But you can use a binder, maybe folders. Some people use plastic tubs. I'll use that for, or like those plastic file folders. I'll use those for actual papers that go to lessons rather than information. Like I like to keep my information in a binder. Here are some ideas of what you can put in your teacher binder. This is from the teacher toolkit page. So I'll show you cover. I made a few covers if you bought this, or you can obviously design your own. A table of contents, and that is something we'll work on today with our index tab dividers. So they're all labeled and ready to go. You'll want your class lists in there. I have my class lists in two places. So I have a class list actually in three places. So I have my class list in my binder for my sub. So it's going to go in my teacher binder. That one I update my class list every time my roster changes. So I have one there. I have one in my emergency like folder for when we have fire drills and stuff. And then I have one on a clipboard that I use for grading. Like I print it out each week. Seating charts, you might want to put that in your teacher binder. My teammate, she has it in hers organized by class, which is really helpful for subs. I put mine on the wall. And then I make a note of it in my sub plans and everything that it's on the wall. Bell schedule, that could go in there. Information about each class, we'll talk about what that includes. IEP 504, any medical information about your students. a summary of your emergency procedures at your school, some school information and phone numbers, curriculum or standards. You might want to have just some emergency subplans as a backup, have your classroom procedures and routines, like those kinds of things in this binder. Oops, we're not there yet. Okay, what we're going to do now is go over these types of things. So, first thing I want to show you is if you got the teacher toolkit, I want to show you the seating chart. So, I like to keep things super simple. Have you heard that acronym KISS, KISS? Keep it super simple. I don't even know if it really stands for that, but that's what I chose. So I like to keep things super simple because it's easy to edit, it saves me time, and it's just, yeah. So this is the seating chart I use in my classroom. I have 36 desks. So I do 6 rows of 6, and I like to have them in groups, but I can also change them to rows. So this is how I do my seating chart. This is all in PowerPoint. I added more, like you can move these boxes around, but I made different types of seating charts for 36 students, and you can edit these. This is if you have tables. So have your seating charts somewhere, whether it's in your binder or on a clipboard or on the wall, but make it easy to find for any teacher or sub that comes into your classroom. All right, now let's go over this. So in the folder of the teacher toolkit, I also have some class lists that I've made up for you. So I know you can probably just print it from your grade book. I don't do that because I like to type in my students' names. It helps me learn their names. So I use Excel. And at the bottom, I circled these. So I put tabs in here. I made the class list of 36, but I have one for 40 because some of us have even larger classes. I have 36 so far as my largest, which is pretty normal for us. So I print out my class list every week. I update it every time my roster changes. And this is what I use to keep attendance, to grade, for my subs, for emergencies, all that. So this is something that you can use or make. And all the names, just so you know, the names that I used in my teacher binder stuff for the teacher survival kit. I keep calling it a toolkit, but the teacher survival kit, those are all my family, a lot of my family members' names, like my cousins and my brothers and my sister and all of our children. So I used names like that, but I didn't, because I didn't want to put students' names in here. Okay, let's go through. This is the teacher binder pages in the teacher survival kit. So these are all the pages that I included for you. And you can always duplicate it. I gave instructions on how to do that. It's in PowerPoint so that you can edit it. So you'll need your cover and your table of contents. I just made a few different types of covers for you. This one is just blank. You can add your own clip art and things like that to it. All right, so first, bell schedule, you can type in your bell schedule here. I started it for you, edit it, and then I actually put my bell schedule on the wall because I can see it and refer to it because I sometimes forget what time certain classes end. Phone list, you might want to put some just help, like phone numbers of teachers and staff members that you call often that your sub might need to call. So this could go in your teacher binder or on the wall. I keep mine on the wall. Also, for easy reference, I can just skim through if I need to make a phone call. All right, here we go. So this is your information about your classes. Now, this kind of summarizes. This is more for a sub or a teacher that walks in your room that takes over. And I would just include some like basic procedures, routines that you do in your class that they need to know. So here I have attendance, like I want them to let me know who was absent or tardy because I keep track of those things. I put how I get my students' attention, like with the doorbell or call and respond kind of stuff. Bathroom procedures, I write down like our school bathroom procedures with the bathroom passes. And then if there's any kids that have unlimited bathroom passes, I would just list them there. And let's see, eating or gum, like no eating in class, no gum chewing, except for, let's say, a diabetic student or something like that, and list that there. Seating charts, because mine's not in my binder, I make a note that it is on the wall. Phones, our students are not allowed to have phones on except for medical reasons, so I note that there. And behavior, this is, I add the number, I put in blue, I put the number to our classroom timeout room here so that if the student is being very disruptive and the teacher needs to send them out, they can call. Medical needs, I just summarize really quick, like who has medical needs so that they're aware. Like if this is the only page a sub reads, then they will get the basic information. They can look through for more detailed information in another part of this binder. And then academic needs and things like that. Then I also go through each class period. So first period, I would just kind of give a summary of that class. Like, is it a regular grade level class? Is it a GATE class? How many kids? So I just wrote one here. So let's say I had an IA in this class. I would say how they are as a whole, and then list the students who might need some help or who have IEPs or 504s, students who might need redirection, and helpful students, and then just any quick accommodation things. Like here I wrote, if calling on Sienna to read, give her time to read it to herself first before having her read aloud. And those would come from IEPs or 504s. Again, this page is for like a quick summary if this is something, the only part that your sub reads besides your lesson plans. So this page, when we are making our teacher binders for this part of the challenge, you just do what you can, and then we'll add our students' information later and our class information later when we get to know them. Excuse me. All right, accommodations. Here, okay, so here's what I like to do that makes it easier. When you get all of your IEPs and 504s at the beginning of the year, it's just so much information. You read through them. So what I do, because the IEPs are so huge, when I read through it, I copy and paste the accommodations onto this page. And that way I know, like, okay, this student needs notes, copy of notes, or they need small group testing. I also add that, just a list, I add it to my class list. So I'll have, maybe in this section, I might have my class list and put like small group testing next to a student's name, or give more time to read or something like that. And then I'll have the details behind the class list. And for 504s, I do the same thing. I list the accommodations. I might print the 504s because they're a lot smaller, or I'll just list it and I save all my IEPs and 504s in a folder on the computer until the school year ends. Health and allergies, this is like your medical students, like if they have medical conditions or if they have food allergies or any of that stuff. So this is where I would list this, and then I print out the paper that the nurse gives me. So these pages, obviously you're gonna wait until you have your students' information and then add it here and then add it to your binder. And then this would also get updated. Oh, my thing froze. This will also get updated regularly if your roster changes. Emergency summary. You could probably make this now if you know your school's emergency summary and print it out for this challenge. So just anything about fire drills or lockdown or earthquake drills, whatever drills you do at your school, write down that procedure, like a summary of it, so that you remember what it is and your sub knows what to do in an emergency or in a drill. Class rules, like we talked about in the first challenge, maybe you type that up already, so you're already ahead of the game, but this can go in your teacher binder. And same with classroom procedures. This is the detailed part of it, and you can keep that in your binder too. Daily routines, this one would be more of the summary that we talked about in the first challenge. So if you already wrote that up, then awesome. You have like 1 or 2 sections done of your binder. Oh, same with consequences and rewards. Excuse me, sorry. Grading policy. This is just something more if you if you want to include it in like a parent thing, but it's a good idea to just type these things up and have it so that you know what it is. Anybody who walks in, maybe you have a long-term sub and they know what your grading policy is. So I've already typed this up. This is what ours is. So that's, you could probably do that now and then put that in your binder. And then I added a birthday list. This is just if you want to have a birthday list, totally optional. So that is something there. Another thing you can put in your binder is your parent communication log. Or you can keep that separate or electronic. You can add, let's see, let me do this. At the back of your binder, maybe print out your curriculum or your standards. When we talk about subplans, we can add that there also. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that we can put in our binder. You can put more stuff in your binder too, but that's the basics of it. Okay, so your homework, or our homework, is to set up our binders. And we'll post our teacher binder here, or just kind of maybe what you're including in your binder. You decide what you want to share for your homework. We are going to just get the things we can set up. So maybe our table of contents, our index dividers, get those labeled so that we can type up our information and put them where they belong. And just the things that don't include student information, we'll put in our binders now so that that's done. So when our students come in, we can add it to our binder. All right, so our goal for today, just goals for today, is to have our binder set up so it's ready for our students' information, label those tabs, and then print pages that are ready to go and put them into our binders. All right, so I can't wait to see your binder and hear what you are adding, and maybe I'll add something new that I didn't think about that you have. So post that in the group. Have fun.